One of my favorite games of all time is Blood Bowl. Anybody that knows me knows I have everything there is to have in Blood Bowl. And now with it coming out probably in a year or so, I'm really excited for it. But through the years, I've always tried to find something that gave me that same kind of feeling. Capture a sports game that would you could really invest yourself into the players. And I've never really been able to find that. Chaos Ball, Dread Ball, Slaughter Ball, they've just never done it for me. Well, that was until I decided to check out a game called Guild Ball. This is a game by Steamforge, and I have to tell you, it is a game of football, but English football, as they call it, or European football. We call it soccer here in America. And it's done with all kinds of different factions. So is this the game that's going to finally get me to say, well, I don't have to play my Blood Bowl, I can play something else? Why don't we go down to the table and see if it does? So here we have a full pitch of Guild Ball. And exactly as you can see, it comes with a ball, which you would need. And over here is a scoring zone. If you are able to score, you will get 4 points. Other ways that you would get points is if you knock somebody out of the game, in which you would receive 2 points. Most games play up to 12 points. Normally, for a beginner game, you would have 3 players on a pitch. So a regular game would be 6 players on a side. Now as you can see this line, you would start the game behind each line. The ball usually is kicked off for the beginning of the game, and it is placed somewhere. You have a zone in which that you can attribute and grab that ball, which is called a melee zone. And if you are within that melee zone, which for this particular character is 2, the ball just automatically attaches. So there is no rolling. Let's take a look at some of these cards and talk about how this whole system works. Now here we have Mercury, who is the captain of the Alchemist. Each team has to have a captain, and Mercury is the captain or the special player for this particular team. In a 6-player game, you would have 1 captain and then 4 other players and a mascot, which is a whole different thing. But we're not going to cover every single rule in this. We're just going to go over pretty much just the basics so you get a good gist to see if this game is for you or not. So, the first number here is movement. Your movement can be 5, which is a jog, or 8, which is a run. Now you would have to pay a thing called influence to run, and we'll talk about that very soon. Attack is how many dice that you would roll on an attack. Kick, how many dice you roll and how many inches you can kick. So this particular player can kick 6 inches. Defense is 4+. Anybody attacking you would have to roll a 4+. And armor, as you can see, is 1 here. And what happens there is that anytime you roll a number of dice and it goes over hits, you can take away 1 die. Now influence is something that each character generates, and it helps them do different things such as attack, charge, kick, and also any special abilities. Now this player generates 1 influence per turn, but can hold up to 4 influence. Now you can see this particular player, Midas, will generate 4 influence per turn, but can hold a maximum of 7 influence. Now on the bottom of this card, you'll see, kind of just like War Machine, there is a track. And what happens is that every time that this player takes a hit, you will mark down the hits. And what happens is that once you get to the skull, you are taken out of the game. Now, there's also a condition called Icy Sponge, in which the player would actually stay out for an entire turn, and if you use the Icy Sponge what'll happen is each turn he will be able to come in with a certain amount of health. So if he stayed out one turn, he can come up to this particular point. If he stayed out for 2 turns, he would generate up to here. If he stayed out 3 turns, it wouldn't matter because that is the highest he can go with the Icy Sponge ability. If you choose to, you do not have to bring the player back. So here we are back on the pitch, and here's the amount of dice, some dice that we would actually roll. But here is influence. Now this particular team, like I said, one player would generate 4 influence, one player would generate 1, and then 2 for a total of 7. But you can assign the influence however you want to assign it. So say we put 3 here, and 2 here, and another 3 here. As the player moves, it moves with him. Now there's a thing called momentum, and momentum is generated by a number of different reasons. Number 1, the player holding the ball can kick the ball 6 inches to another player. He would roll 3 dice, and 4 dice, and would have to get 3 dice, and would have to get 4 plus. At least 1 4 plus, and here we have 1 5, so that's all you need to kick. So the ball would travel from this person to this person and automatically attach to this person. That would cost 1 influence. But say for instance that in a different situation that we had players all over the place here, and people knocked all over the place. There's a thing called momentum. As you see, once we made that pass, we would generate 1 momentum token, and we would keep that to the side. You cannot score a goal unless you pay 1 influence and 1 momentum, and that would give you the ability to kick. Now, kicking is very simple. Again, you would roll your 3 dice, and you would need 4 plus. That would be a goal, as long as it was within the 6-inch range. But if there was an enemy within the zone here, that would be -1 for each enemy. So they would need actually a 6 on 3 dice. So there is a chance that you can do it. And of course, no, you would not be able to do it. And the kick would scatter, in which you would use a scatter dice. Attacking is very, very simple. You have a certain amount of attack. And for instance, let's just say our girl here was going to attack this person, and they decided that they had, well, we had 3 influence with her. She wanted to declare a charge. A charge would cost 2. 1 to perform a run, and 2 to perform attack, and that is considered a charge. So she would be able to move here to there and charge and attack. Her attack value is 4 dice. Her enemies has a defense value of 4 plus, so you would need 4 plus on 4 dice. But because she charged, there was a bonus. She would get an additional 4 dice. So actually you would be rolling 8 dice at once, trying to get 4 pluses. What would happen then is that because their defense is -1, you would take away all the misses, which we have. Wow, this was really bad. So she only would hit twice, but because this particular person has 1 armor, they would only get 1 hit. Now what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at her card. On her card, there is a special area here. And as you can see right here, that you would block out because only 1 hit went through. You would either get to, which this particular symbol means a push. You can push the other person anywhere you wanted to for 2 inches, or you can choose a hit. So they would get 1 wound. So they would mark off a wound on the other person's card. But say you had a whole bunch of hits, okay? And let's say you had 5 hits. Now, as you can see, this goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And what would happen is there's a wraparound ability. So you would be able to get a hit, and you would be able to choose anything here on 6 hits, and then come around on 2, and then get to pick another one. So you can do an actual lot of damage. Now, if you notice, some of these things are in green. Like here is a takeaway or a tackle. if the person had the ball and you rolled a 3, you can either do any of these damage or take the ball away from them. And usually you want to take the ball away, which means as simple as this. You would just come up to the person and you would roll, and then that person would end up with the ball, which means they would be able to pass the ball away. Now, if you notice in green here, if you chose one of these things to do 2 damage to them, that's fine. You would mark off 2 damage, but because it's green, you would get a momentum. And momentum, again, you cannot do certain abilities or shots without momentum. There are other cards that have a thing like here for Midas, who is one of the major players. It has a GB, which means that you can do one of these heroic abilities only if you're able to make an attack of 3+ and be able to choose this ability. You would get a momentum and then be able to do this particular ability. Or you can choose the heavy burden, which is just 1 momentum and 1 GB. Now the thing that makes this great is there's so many different abilities that come with each character. The alchemists are known for poisoning and casting fire. As you can see here, Midas likes to cast fireballs pretty much. And some do poison, some have area effect weapons. There's a lot of different teams, like the Union, for instance, is a bunch of mercenaries and anybody can join their team. The alchemists are basically chemical based. There are butchers, which are your kind of beat up team. The fishermen are kind of like elves in a way. They're very fast and nimble and very hard to catch and score with ease and have very high agility. And you can do leagues, you can do just about anything you can with this game. I mean, this game is very, very open and very versatile. And when it gets going, it flows very easily and the rules are very well put together. I really like what goes on with the momentum and the influence, as you can assign it, and as turns go, you can change your momentum as you build it up to different players that you may have a plan to start off with while you're trying to stop others. As you see, these guys are the Union, and they're basically all mercenaries. We have the alchemists, which are basically known as the magic users, and there's so many different teams that you can choose from and decide which one that fits you best. The leagues are very easy. A win is 3 points, a loss is no points, and you could play tournaments with this, and it's just a very versatile game. And fun, fast, has a little bit of a Blood Bowl feel with a War Machine feel with the cards. And as you can see, the cards, you can actually print these at their website and be able to mark them out without having to mark, or get an easy erase marker and then put a plastic shield over this and you can mark it off and mark up the card. They all have different abilities which you can use your influence to cast. As you can see, this Noxious Blast, like I said, the alchemists are known for poison, would cost 2 or 1 influence, so it really would strategically help you decide where you are going to put your influence. So that's about it, and that pretty much gives you an easy gist of the game. And let's head up top and get my final thoughts on it. Wow, Guild Ball. Unbelievable game. I felt a lot of things to it. It was almost kind of had that kind of War Machine where you would work with the cards and stuff like that, but it had a different feel. It was a lot faster than Blood Bowl, but it still gave you that feel that anything can happen at any moment, at any time. And it wasn't as dice heavy as Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl tends to be very, very heavy chess, and if you could plan all your moves and one die roll ruin everything. It's one of the points I do like about the game, but with Guild Ball, it kind of builds and builds, and you can still have that feeling that, boy, I can really fail this and everything can go wrong. And you get that back and forth type of play, and you have a great feel, and the game is always involved. Every turn is just very, very deep and a lot of fun. I really, really, really love this game. I think this is a fantastic game. Will it overtake Blood Bowl? I guess time will have to see as I take a look at the Season 2 instructions and some of the other things that they plan on coming out for it. Right now, it is right up there with it, and I really love this game, and I've played it quite a bit. The map is beautiful. The only negatives I have to say about it, I wish they had a box set that had everything all in one box. A nice starter army, two starter armies, the map in there, the rules, some dice and stuff like that. Just to just buy it all in one package instead of having to piecemeal it all together and try to figure out what you need and what you don't need. Another bonus in there is that you can go to their website, steamforgegames.com, I believe it is, and you can download the rules so you can see what you would actually need. And the rules are just very crisp, clean, and easy to go through. So big pluses for this game, and it makes it easy for you to pick up the things. Is it a little pricey? Yeah, it's a little pricey, but this is a fantastic game and well worth it. And if you have a bunch of friends, you can play a couple of games in a night. And it's not like Blood Bowl where if you play one game, that's a pretty full night and your head hurts. This game, it flows very well. It's a pretty quick game, and it just plays very, very well. I would have to give Guild Ball an 8 out of 10. The only reason I think I gave it a little low is, again, I like to see a box set of it and have everything all condensed where I can do that. But an 8 is a very, very strong 8, and I think this is just a fantastic game. Well, that's it for this week's review. I'm Rob Orn, and until next time, have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.